Hello everybody, and welcome back to the LJL Official, the Unofficial cast coverage of the LJL 2020 Spring Split Finals, covering Detonation FocusMe facing off against Sengoku Gaming. Currently, Detonation FocusMe lead this series 2-0 on match point. Initialize and Nymera. Initialize, you must be rather happy about this, as your prediction was a 3-0 for DFM.
I was. I'm feeling fairly good about it. I need to see something new out of Sengoku, I think. They've tried two quite similar drafts that I don't think have really worked out for them thus far. And not that I don't think Sengoku have stuff in the tank. I'm sure they do. But they do need to find a new way into this game.
And particularly for me, I really want to see a strong level 1 support from Sengoku. Something like Morgana, which NT is really good at. I think that they struggled with Nautilus, and we saw that in terms of playing it themselves. We saw that DFM achieved a very similar thing yesterday against V3, right? Where they walked in with the Nautilus level 1 and they just scouted the jungle clear. When you have information on the jungle clear, Blank becomes so much better of a jungler, and Steel does tend to suffer with that. And both the semifinals and the finals so far, in all of the games that we've seen, Steel's not really being tested in this first clear, and it's shut down the bot lane really heavily from Sengoku. So for me, I'd like to see something like a Morgana out of the support. Maybe something like an Ezreal if there's so much of this disruption in the team fight like the Azir as well. I just need to see a big change up from Sengoku, much like Initialize was saying.
Interesting. I mean, they will have side selection, so do you think they switch sides, or do you think just running it back is totally fine? They just need to kind of figure out maybe a pick and ban phase? Do they need to keep banning this Elise?
I think that red side might work for some of the counter picks. I don't know whether that just means that DFM first pick the Trundle themselves and have a better comp to deal with it. It depends if Blank wants to pick up something like a Graves or something like that to deal with it himself. Leaving up the Elise when Renekton is unbanned as well, leaves up Renekton and Elise. That's pretty horrifying, particularly when you're facing off against Ebby. I'm not sure you want to leave that up, but maybe they have a different read on the situation.
Okay, so are we going to be seeing a 3-0 DFM, or is Sengoku going to come back with a win?
Ask me after the draft.
No. I want that.
I'm sticking with 3A.
Oh, of course you are, sir. I mean, of course you are.
I think it's looking like a 3-0. I think that Yutomi is not looking comfortable, and that's a big thing. I think that Pyrian's been playing really well, but this game's not really been about mid lane difference, because Saros has still been doing fine. His late game Azir fights have been really good, and they've been playing really well around the objective secure potential of stuff like the Heimerdinger and the Azir anyway. So I think right now, just the difference in team cohesion and game plan has been so big from DFM.
I mean, it's really interesting to look at the damage graphs for the current post-game breakdown. As you can see on stream, the Misfortune of Phalios were very close, relatively speaking, when it comes to damage. The damage was actually very equal around. And I mean, as you can see on the gold graph, they almost were back to, call it a few hundred.
Parity,
and then you kind of shrug your shoulders at that point.
Then there was the huge fight around Dragon.
There was a couple great fights where they found picks, they forced land respite in ugly situations, where the Sengoku Gaming did come back in a bit, where Pyrian was looking pretty good, where Misfortune found some good spots over walls to throw bullet times, rather than being in a place where she could get interrupted. But in the end, it's just, again, it is that clutch that DFM seem to have in the late game, that really good cohesion, particularly with their teleports right now.
So, something I noticed, and I on purposely didn't tell you both before we came here.
Oh boy.
Okay, so we saw Steel play 4 games in a row versus V3 playing Trundle. Right?
Yeah.
Signaling that he really likes playing Trundle. Was this all a ruse from DFM? And they planned the Kindred and were like, haha, you'll pick our Trundle away, and then we'll have the hard counter in.
Well, the thing is that when you prioritize a champion that heavily, obviously you will have had some practice against that champion as well, right? Which was the thing about Varus priority against some of the series, say like in the LCK finals or in the last series between these two teams as well. If we then see a team have that pick taken away from them, they presumably have something to deal with it if they know the ins and outs of it and they've done their homework properly.
True.
And we've seen that, right? We saw Saros go towards Azera. There is my answer. We've seen it in the jungle as well now. Steel prioritized the Trundle, but he says, yeah, I've got an answer if you take it away from me too. And that puts a bit of a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario on Sengoku Gaming. And we need to see whether they have got prepped enough for that response as well. Because that's sometimes a deal when you come in with 4 weeks cold, you don't have time to change things on the fly. Like, even those 4 weeks, if you hadn't realized that, wait, they're playing Kindred, like, you've got to fix that on the fly. I mean, if you've scouted it, sure. doesn't look like they have right now.
So when it comes to this pick and ban phase, we were talking on the break about Trundle pick and how good it is. Is it even relevant? I mean, quite clearly DFM already have an answer to it, and they've proven they've already have the answer to it now back to back. What do Sengoku need to do? What do DFM need to do? What needs to happen?
I think if Sengoku choose blue side, you don't first pick it. I don't think it's worth that much. I think actually at this point, first pick of Felios might be worth more.
Maybe.
Uspawn's making the pick look very good. It does set up for picks like the Blitzcrank as well. It also sets up for stuff like the Morgana, which is NT's more wheelhouse as well. Sets up for anything which has the follow-up CC and the damage with that, really. I think that the Trundle has been fine in terms of the pillars being able to force out quite a bit in these team fights. We saw that even though the Kindred was picked into the Trundle, there was that one pick in the mid lane where they forced out the Lamb's Respite, and then the Aatrox chain pulled back the Kindred as well. So I don't think the Trundle in isolation is bad. It just screws over the draft a little bit if you pick it first pick when there are other power picks available, and I think the Aphelios classifies that even on patch 10.8 nerfed.
That's kind of scary that he's still that good, right? The other thing I want to ask you is, are there any power picks that we were expecting to see, but we just haven't seen from either of these two teams?
Ornn?
Okay.
Where is he?
Okay, so Ornn. Anybody else that's really coming to mind? I mean, Ornn is obviously the big god in the room that it's surprising we haven't seen it even in the mid lane. We've seen Syros play Ornn mid.
Let me check through my post-its to see if there's anything I put down.
Let's have a think.
No, I don't think so. I think most of them have just been banned, right? The Graves are still being banned. The Varus is still being banned. Set is being banned. I think the Yuumi has kind of shown itself as a power pick between these two teams. When you're playing around objectives which are this closely contested, this sustain just makes it so hard to eke out a proper advantage, and it does drag out games super hard.
Yeah. And also, I think the fact that Pyrion has gone towards staples like Corki, like Azir, means that Seros kind of knows it's a known quantity, right?
Yeah.
And that's fine. Pyrion's playing well on those, but it's not forcing anything super strange out of DFM right now.
No, I mean, what is really nice to kind of see is that DFM have definitely locked up how they want to do their draft. They're almost doing the same thing in the pick and ban phase for the first three, but then they will completely change the axis in which they have to ban and pick for the last two, which is really nice to see because this is a side of DFM that we hadn't been seeing throughout the regular spring split. They have been basically almost banning and picking very consistently against almost every team and just what they have to do. And now this is a DFM that is adjusting to their opponents.
Exactly. I think the thing which is very impressive about DFM for me is that throughout the whole split, a lot of the time they just kind of crutched on Ebi to be just pressure point, destroy other top laners, just win the game through that. In the series versus V3, I think largely it's due to Seros's pressure. And this series so far, against what I would have thought would be the best AD carry and the best bot lane CV2 in the region, it's bot lane that are really coming up huge. So they're showing that they are kind of, the Trident team, that we kind of called G2 one of those teams, about being able to put pressure in any of their lanes and do well with it. And DFM, very much impressing me so far with it.
Yeah, I mean, they absolutely are. Obviously, the winner of this match would have been going to MSI to represent the LJL. But obviously, with it no longer happening, they still do get to be the champions of the region. And going into summer, that has to feel good getting that kind of off your back. If you are Yutori Muashi, who was in the finals of the 2019 summer split.
Yeah, he was.
And
it's sad that he's,
there were actually 6 members of this match currently having a repeat. Yutori Muashi was the only one on the side of V3, his previous team.
And then just DFM.
Now, yes, and the whole side of DFM who decided to run their whole team back, only upgrading their head coach of On Air, which could be seen. And just keeping everybody else as well.
That prep has been fantastic.
Yeah, quite clearly, the prep of On Air is bleeding through. If anything has been a ruse, this Trundle feels like it's the biggest ruse. Have Steel perform like a god on it and then go, haha, we've got the perfect pick.
Well, it just shows that they have a really good finger on the pulse of the meta in this patch, right? And that's something which DFM have very much adapted to it very well. I think that the Trundle is in itself a power pick, but when you're picking stuff like Gnar top lane, which doesn't build heavy resists, you're not picking a tank jungler like a Jarvan or a Sejuani into it. The Trundle can't effectively, he can still effectively gank, right? The pillar is still very good.
Pillar's great.
But it's not so good in terms of a frontline champion.
Well, let's see how this pick and ban phase goes. DFM are all going to be on blue side and Sengoku on red side, so it's
They
going
got
to be
switched around.
exciting to see what we do. Gentlemen, take it away.
And we have finally seen a switch around. DFM will be taken on the blue side this time. Sengoku is taken around. The old switcheroo. Varus is banned though by Sengoku Gaming because you don't want to give Utabon that pick. LeBlanc taken away by DFM because Pyrian plays that very well. Not so many straight counter picks to that, and we know Seros does love those. We'll see what the second ban is here. I wonder whether something like the Trundle or the Ornn might be an option. Yuumi, another good option.
So I think that being able to lock in the Yuumi as kind of a response to whatever you're picking, Yuumi's just so nasty. And the question is basically, if you're going to ban it, you don't want to first pick it because Yuumi kind of needs another couple of power picks to put it around. So yeah, we're going to look at a very different style of draft. For the first time in this series, third game in, we're going to have differing side selections. Sengoku will have to complete a reverse sweep. They're going to ban out the Graves themselves. So actually kind of flipping the scorecards a bit right here.
They are, and it is worth saying that thus far in this series, DFM haven't had to show more than really the one style of draft. And this might force them to change something around a bit. Of course, we saw different things from yesterday, so we know they've got other things prepared. But I'll be interested to see what they want to go for with the first pick, because Set or Renekton will be available, or Ornn, or Release. All of these things will be up. Or Aphelios.
Trundle.
Yeah, there's a lot up here. And of course, Varus and Graves have to be taken.
Thresh as well is pretty empowering.
Trundle taken.
Trundle's going to be taken away. So there are a lot of power picks left up. I actually want to see if a Syndra is going to be locked in at some point as well. It's kind of better in some of these more messy skirmishy fights and kind of fish for some of those stuns. It's something which DFM like to put on the blue side because it does flex between mid and bot lane as well. I don't think it'd be a first pick. There are a lot of things which could be put in here.
But
I think that the Aphelios is worthy of a first pick.
There it is.
I would really like to see a priority level 1 champion locked in by Sengoku, either something like a Nautilus or Morgana, like I was saying. I don't know whether Sengoku have not really played well around the Nautilus in the past, but it can work out pretty well, and it allows them to have that level 1 scouting ability. Aatrox is available if they want to lock that in as a kind of a blind pick top laner. It's something they have done on red side as a response to this before. And they're going to go towards the MF, it looks like, again. I'm not sure what I think about that.
Taking away the Thresh from an Aphelios well can be quite powerful, stops him getting away, so I can see that being
this is
a thing.
the problem, right?
That might be a more aggressive jungler that we've been missing. Blank's Olaf is pretty legendary, but he's thinking instead perhaps about his Java and another pick he's very good on.
Yeah, okay. So they're hovering over a couple of different picks right now, so we're not going to talk about it too much until they want to lock.
I would be okay with either pick, in fairness. Okay, Javan is locked in.
So there's something which is a bit better at setting up for the MF this time.
Yeah, I think DFM probably want to think about taking a Thresh here because Aphelios needs a way out of that Cataclysm. A Lantern would be a great start for that.
Lantern's huge for the Aphelios in terms of being particularly against the Javan.
That's after a Misfortune Nautilus.
Set's been unbanned, so I actually, you know what, completely forgot about that, and that's really important because Set is a really big champion for Ebby, and he just wrecks lanes with that, so it's kind of dangerous, but it was something I was talking about in the break to the other two here as well, saying like, something has to fall through the ban phase now, because Sengoku have to change things up. What's it going to be? Maybe you just risk the Set.
Maybe you risk the Set. And of course, it is worth pointing out that Seros has been putting a lot of time into Aurelia recently. This would be aggressive, but it would be good fun. And it would be throwing the gauntlet down.
No, you don't pick that blind, I don't think. There are too many things which can deal with it too well.
Much more
Karma is kind of budget Yuumi for the Aphelios. We saw Gang play it in the semifinals versus V3. It can, of course, go to mid lane with Seros as well. A very good control mage. Being able to wave, clear, poke out, and just survive in the mid lane as well. Last pick for Sengoku in these first 3 picks, the first round of picks. We'll see what they want to prioritize. Lots of different options. Aatrox is still up. I think that's important for them too.
And it is important, of course, that Karma is a flex between the mid and the support, and that's pretty quite powerful. The Thresh, it's a way of saving Misfortune. I understand it, but I understand you, and I can see why you would want to prioritize something a little bit different. The Thresh hasn't been, I don't think, a problem, but it hasn't been a win condition either.
NT's been playing okay on it. I just really want Sengoku to have a level 1 plan, and Thresh is not the best level 1 champion compared to something like a Morgana, Nautilus, Braum, something like that. As much as it offers a lot to you in terms of the laning phase and later on into the game, I just need to see some stronger level 1s from Sengoku. It's also a Set jungle, by the way, so they're banning out Elise right here, but it could also be flexed down to Steel.
Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen it support.
Exactly, yeah. It's triple flex. Quadriflex, really. You can go to mid lane as well. If
in the right picks, we've seen Ninja do that before and look pretty good on it. But it is, again, one of those picks that you have to do it into, and you have to do it into the right matchup, but there is options for it. We'll look at the
Victor
Victor banner.
Permaban.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because, Pyrian's great on it. And if you feel you don't necessarily have the right answer to it and you want to pick certain champions that aren't what you want to play Victor into, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, exactly, right. So we're going through the second round of bans as well. And yeah, Victor just adds a lot of problems when you're trying to get priority over anywhere on the map because one laser clears out the whole way.
Do you potentially ban? I think if you leave a Zir Corki up, you could potentially just run that back.
I think it might be worth banning these. Okay, Kindred's
Kindred
being
ban.
banned.
Like, no, can't give it away.
I think if they've shown, I think DFM has shown that the Kindred is really good into the Misfortune. It can also just leap forward onto the Misfortune if she's in the wrong position. We saw that in the very last fight of the game, actually, in game 2. So they just don't want to deal with that. It's too much of an unknown quantity for them. Well, known from 2 losses, but they just don't have the answers to it right now in the cards. So just taking that away rather than risking it.
Yeah, and it is a great answer to Wombo combo if you're not completely locked up in CC or taken off the board.
The first time we see him in Pixel bans, it's a round 2 ban.
Yeah, because of course Misfortune Jarvan Ornn is a Cauldron of Doom when you put down that Cataclysm. So once you've removed the Lamb's Respite to kind of stifle that Wombo combo, taking parts of that Wombo combo away.
Appleman had a couple of really good
he did.
He's very proficient on that champion.
In that major team fight in that mid lane that Sengoku turned around, it was a great flash from Appleman to avoid the shuffle, where he then managed to find his way into the back lane as a result of that flash. So he's been playing that fight well. He knows how to team fight on the Aatrox so well.
Set jungle, set mid.
They're thinking about it. Set jungle has been showing up a little bit more. Set support has also been showing up a little bit more. And we know Ebby loves the Renekton, but instead, Azir would make a lot of sense.
Okay, so this will be the Azir locked in. So this kind of pseudo playmaker in the mid lane, we saw a lot of shuffles coming out of Seros compared to Pyrian's Azir in game 1. And it's very strong in lane in a lot of ways, kind of takes on all comers. But there are some counter pick options to the Azir. We'll see if Pyrian has anything special cooked up.
Yeah, and we'll have to see what Steel thinks about picking up. Of course, that set could still be flexed there. Still could be flexed to bot, I suppose. But the Gnar just takes it up. It's another bit of engage. There's been some great teleports. It's not a bad lane into the Aatrox. Makes a lot of sense. And that would be a hilarious pick. The Heimerdinger being hovered. Going now towards the Ziggs. If Pyrian has practiced Heimerdinger to play it into Pyrian, I would give him massive credit for just the sheer amount of balls.
The
audacity,
yeah. It's actually going to be the Ziggs!
It's there! Oh, man. All right.
Okay. So the whole idea is when you're trying to counterpick an Azir, you kind of have a couple of options. Sometimes you have something that can dive onto him, something like a Nocturne, which we've seen from the LJL a couple of times, or something that can just outrange him and just kind of make him get him poked out because he doesn't exactly have sustain of his own right. In this game, we're going to have an Athene's Karma coming out of the support role, which means it's not going to be Karma Jungle set support. It's not going to be that. I've seen Karma Jungle. It's horrifying. But yeah, it's not going to be that this game. So you're trying to poke out the Azir, but potentially that Karma can get to a point if the bot lane goes well enough where the Athenes comes in really large and it will matter less.
It really will. It's also one of these games where Ebby can play weak side on the Gnar if he has to, especially because they've gone for that mage support with the Karma. They're going to be looking to put pressure down on that side.
Yeah, they are. And I think it's really important to say that the Jarvan Ziggs combo is also a thing because you get stuck in the Cataclysm, you get pretty much insta-hit by the sweet spot from Ziggs.
I've been running through some Wombo combo lines. When and if they turn up in this game, I've got to hope they do because Sengoku need to turn this around. They've had a couple games now where they've struggled in the early game. They found competitive fights in the mid, but they've still lost Barons. They've still lost Dragons.
Can we call this combo between Ziggs and Jarvan the shot glass because it's a bomb?
That's pretty good.
Cool,
yeah. I was going to go more with musical references, but you'll have to wait and see. I'm not going to spoil it early.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. That, of course, only
the shot glass, it makes a lot of shot glass because it's Misfortune bullet time.
Exactly, I like the shot glass, yeah. So,
we'll call it that.
But hopefully, it means that Sengoku, if you're hearing those lines, will have found a way into this game, getting themselves towards that point where they can team fight into the game. It's going to be a set jungle, so it's not Ebby on that crazy champion he's shown in the top lane. It's going to be the Aatrox versus the Gnar once again in game 3 here. DFM sat at 2-0. It's backs against the wall for Sengoku. Let's hope they can pull something out. And of course, we do have this quick break before we get into game 3. I almost forgot about it. So I think we're not going to bother now, as we're just going to wait until we get into game and talk a little bit more about these two teams.
We've seen the two different comps here. Again, it's front to back to an extent, but there is the lane pressure in the bot side for DFM. What are you expecting A, out of the early game, and what are the win conditions as the kind of B point here?
Second gank really early into the game. Of course, Jarvan can do at level 2. You do like a red buff into your EQ combo, all that kind of thing. But set with the phase breaker very early is quite nasty. We see a lot of phase rush coming out of him now. We're not necessarily seeing as much Conqueror, but you can definitely pick that up as well. I think that top lane, again, will probably just go even unless the set finds it up there very quickly. I think once again, it's going to be, can Torimiyashi get through lane phase fine? Does he have to blow needless summoners? Does he have to, do all this other thing? Yazir is still going to be there to try and interrupt the bullet time. There's going to be the Mega Gnar there as well. They've been playing much better around the Gnar in these 2 games so far. So, yeah, it's kind of a bit of the same from DFM. They have, again, themselves this Azir in the mid lane. They have themselves the Aphelios. So they have very strong, in the late game, very strong late game carries. But the question is, do Sengoku have anything to get more priority over them this time?
And that is the question. Do they? Do they take a game back? Or is this it? Is this
it going to be the shutout?
Is it the shutout? Is this the thrill? What are you thinking?
That's a good question.
You've seen the drafts. You've seen the games thus far. It's changed. It's a very different draft in a lot of ways.
I really like Blank's Jarvan.
I do too.
I think it gives them more dedicated engage options than Trundle gave them. I think if the lanes from DFM do not respect the Wombo, it could be very difficult. But DFM have been superb in their cohesions thus far. I really want Sengoku to win and keep this in the series and keeps up to more games. I think DFM close it out.
You heard it here, folks. We'll see what the Twitter vote's at. We'll see what the AI vote is at.
No Blitzcrank to,
But there's no Blitzcrank to vote at this one. But we are here on the Rift for what could be our final game of the spring 2020 season for the LJL. DFM are at match point, and they are looking to follow in the trend of so many other regions. EU, NA, LCK. They want to be another 3-0 team. Sengoku Gaming, though.
Why can't we?
They're not done yet.
If we are,
they want to pull an LPL. They want to hit to that 5-game monster series. They're looking for a reverse sweep. But this is it. One final roll of the dice. One final shot of the Taylor one final shot of the on the table is what I was going for, because the barman needs to pour them something stronger than the last 2 games.
And they got to pour in something stronger than DFM as well, because they've been looking 100% proof.
They have been looking foolproof, one might say, in a lot of ways. But, there's been a couple spillages in the mid-game. Sengoku Gaming are a good team. They know how to team fight. Pyrian and Blank have teamed up for some nice stuff around mid lane and good vision control. But it hasn't been enough quite yet. The AI still holding this at a 51% advantage now to DFM. 49 the first game, 50 the second, 51 for the third. It's Steel on a top side start once again, but so is Jarvan. You know where they'll turn up for the level 3. Torimiyashi, NT, Gang, and Utapon. This bot lane, all eyes on them.
All eyes on them as well. And if we're so similar to the LCK and going to get 3-0, can we get Durudunga? We have the Japanese adverts, which are a thing of beauty, but can we get that?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Level 1 Q hitting on 2.
It's pretty sad.
It's good poke.
It is, but Blank's actually just hit level 2. He's just going to give out the level 2 gank. They've got to be aware of this. It is an old Jarvan staple. It's almost cheese, but it can happen. So you can't really call it entirely cheese. That's a good satchel trade from Pyrian.
Yeah, it is. So the thing about Ziggs is that if you're really proficient at that champion, you can actually get a guaranteed W into Q combo. You hit the W and it gets you an auto and a Q for free. It's one of the reasons why he was pretty good in bot lane back in the day as well. No, say back
Jarvan's
in the day.
here, but there's a ward. There is a ward.
There is a ward. Has he been spotted on it? Yeah, he has been spotted just now. Hook
misses.
Just missing.
Good shield from Karma.
And he gets the ward there as well. So Blank actually getting the XP for that. Important to note, Steel hasn't gone for a sweep early, didn't put down the early
There's no ward, though.
There's no ward there for Sengoku either, but there would have to be a flash face breaker to really set up.
Thinking about it. Gang's going forwards. Can they land the slow? If they can land a big Q slow, they can get this done. The flash is there. It forces the double flashes back. Utapon is now in trouble. There's an exhaust bound. NT's taken so damn low.
4 summoners from bot lane just from the flash of Steel. That's a high value gank if I've ever seen one.
Absolutely is. And once again, Sengoku Gaming's bot lane is on life support. You cannot burn but 4 summoners. All of them from a level 3 gank, especially after Jarvan just turned up.
Yeah, and this is my problem when I was saying, well, I really want Sengoku to pick a strong level 1 support, something that they can invade with. Because if you don't scout out the jungle start, Steel manages to get stuff like this done very early into the game. He has been running over the jungle matchup, I think it's fair to say, in most of these games. He might even get something mid lane too, because he's not been spotted here either. Teleport coming in from the Azir.
Pyrion's on the right side of this, though. They're going to try and find their way in. Azir's got a bit of a thing up there. He's going to have to explain. Oh, doesn't quite find that.
Satchel misses there.
Satchel does miss. Pyrion's here, but so is Ebby. It's going to be a 3 versus 2. Steel's been found. Seros is in trouble. He flashes away. The knock-up is there. Now Pyrion is in trouble, but the teleport has to be burned from Appaman. Seros is low, though, and he just teleported in, so he's in a bit of a dry spot. But so is Pyrion, who's also low.
That's actually not that bad, actually. That could have gone much worse for Sengoku. And it's going to be Seros having to recall. It's going to be slightly... I think it's going to be a slow push back into Pyrion there as the first minion.
Okay.
Guys,
you would know better. I don't know my wave control very well at all.
I'm sometimes notoriously really bad doing that.
Okay,
well, I think as far as it happens there, Pyrion will get back in time. I think the cannon minions might both die there. They might actually just both survive. It is frozen over on Azir's side of the wave for now, but I think slightly more minions will die on the red wave. So, yeah, overall, tetchy first couple of minutes. Everyone's kind of, yeah, that's the way to describe it, I think. Yeah, we see actually, it looks like Pyrion wants to shove in anyway, but he's going to get slightly more minions for it. So, once again, I would say that Pyrion has been laning very well against Seros on the whole.
A slight CS advantage as a result of that, because, of course, Seros teleported and had to leave straight away.
Well, so did Pyrion, actually, it looks like. Their teleports are on very similar cooldown.
That's very true. They were looking for similar backs. It was a Dark Seal pickup, I believe, for Pyrion, whereas it was a second Doran's Ring again for Seros, who is just looking for that budget Rod of Ages, and does make a lot of sense when he's just there to keep priority.
It's budget Halo. This is Halo Infinite. This is actually the release. You get infinite Doran's Rings.
I was going to try and make a Cortana reference, but I suppose if that AI... That Blitzcrank.
That's it. Seros. He's upgraded to Cortana.
That's what it is. He's a Microsoft system. He's got Cortana as the assistant. We've figured it out. Actually, there's a gank coming down the bot side, and Unipon's got to be careful. They're going to try and find engage. They do force the flash away from Unipon, but they're trying to turn it around a little bit here. One summoner burnt, but the push going to be a little bit more risky now from DFM.
Yeah, it is. So it means that the return gank is a possibility there. There was priority from DFM in the bot lane. You kind of expect that of a calm support. It's going to be a heal barrier once again, by the way. Satchel in the mid lane once again onto the Azir. Looks like this Ziggs is working out pretty well. Blank walking into Steel. Thresh here, though, but his course is on a ward over that side of the Blast Plant.
Yeah, it is. And nice return gank from Blank. He knows where the pressure point is. It's still advantage to DFM down that bot side.
Again.
He's going in. Pyrion's in trouble. He's going to get slowed. He's going to get face breaked. The Satchel's there. He's taking a lot of damage. He just went straight into the Haymaker and taken very low. He survives.
Good discipline from Pyrion, though. Actually,
it is good discipline.
Yeah, he's got himself a Dark Seal on the Corrupting part, so he's going to heal up an amount. He doesn't exactly have that much wave mana to clear this wave, but it'll be just enough to clear that out.
Bush, but of course, Seros is around. He has been spotted. He's got to be a little careful.
Steel with water walking and phase rush means you can just get between mid lane and bot lane so quickly. It means that one jet gank chains into another so very quickly here. Yeah, Pyrion's going to miss himself the next wave. It's going to push into tower, but he needs to really have himself a biscuit if he wants to really stay, but I don't think he's got the mana to clear it out and wait for the next cannon wave for a good reset.
And this top lane's been left on an island, and the HP bar trade is going the way of Ebby right now, who's got this shoved in. Half the first turret plane down.
Oh, it looks like actually Pyrion did stay for the rest of that wave. What this does mean, Steel, because of the priority in mid lane and Jarvan not really being the strongest early game brawler, will be able to pick up the first dragon once again for DFM.
Jarvan has great early CC, not the highest amount of damage once his combo is blown, and
he's got Conqueror at least.
Yeah, he's got Conqueror, but I would still favor at least this early on the set with the face breaker, with the Haymaker, with the knuckle down. You probably don't want that trade early on. Blank, though, he's doing fine thus far. He's keeping up well enough in CS.
I mean, if you land the EQ and the E lands right on top of the set, and then he doesn't manage to Haymaker most of it, and you just kind of walk out with that. Of course, set has been nerfed in a lot of these patches. The base damage of his W is down by 30 at max rank, which is pretty huge. I think the Jarvan can win out a lot of these trades. Of course, you don't really want them to last that long because of the Haymaker being able to trade around so much. It's like playing against a Rengar, like his W being able to just turn around those HP trades really quickly.
Yeah. First plate down in the bot lane thus far for DFM. I think it's nearly down on the top side as well. Azir and Ziggs is relatively even right now,
It's
though.
10
The
CS lead
Ziggs
to
has got a
6,
bit
yeah.
of a CS lead. Again, we talked about how those teleport plays where it was even, and there was the kind of Ziggs got first push on the way, but they both had to back.
For once, right, remember that early play, DFM didn't really make anything out of those
No, they
teleport
didn't.
plays,
That
which is
is-
pretty big. Yeah, and
is
it does
big.
look like Ebby's going to get an isolated first plate here in the top lane. He's pushing in the Aatrox and bullying around that match pretty well.
We
Could
just
be a
watched
dive, actually.
blank back, and that puts Appleman in a difficult position. Ebby's stacking up this rage bar,
Yes,
and
Hex.
Steel and
He
Ebby.
has regular flash this time.
He does have regular flash. Appleman's back has been stopped. He's going to try and pull away from this. He's going to burn his world, and he's going to get slowed. Steel's just being annoying.
But it's not a death, at least, right? It
It's
could
not.
be worse. They don't have
But
a
there's
herald.
no teleport.
There's no teleport. At least there's no herald. It's going to be a wave loss. The next counterwave is going to be
Be a
pretty hard
second
to
plate
push
as well.
It's going to be 2 plates, it looks like.
That's
Actually,
a pretty big win.
might not be from that wave. It's kind of hard
It's
to
hard
tell.
to say. Meganol's not the fastest at taking plates.
Yeah, but it does mean there's a 20 CS lead now in the top lane,
Yeah, that's
which
pretty
is
huge.
pretty nasty. But then again, we saw that Appleman can play weak side of the map pretty well on this Aatrox, even when he has been put behind by some of these pressure ganks and some of the laning phases which have gone against him. Blue buff's going to be handed off to Pyrian. I think Pyrian has probably been the best performer from Sengoku thus far. He's been playing pretty well on all of his different scaling picks. He's not been on the LeBlanc or the Zoe this time. And we coming into playoffs, Pyrian was a player we thought, well, maybe if he's not on the LeBlanc, well, maybe if he's not on the Zoe, what's he really doing? I think he's been showing up pretty well, even in the losing games so far.
Yeah, but with blank spot on award, we saw Utapon and Gang go towards Croaks, and they couldn't push in safely. And while it was happening, Steel got a solo Rift Herald at the spawn point there, so they've got that.
Top lane pressure was
and
so
top lane
much in
pressure
favor.
is huge. Blank is down bot though. He's got level 6. Ziggs has got level 8. They're looking for a dive.
There is no flash
There's
available.
teleport and Ebby.
There is heal and barrier available to use one. They're going to
Go
for
in.
it.
Here's the teleport. That's a big shield. He's alive for now, but he's taken so
Oh, the
Ziggs gets the first
The
blood.
T1 emote comes out.
There it is. That was well played.
It was hugely well played. You know he doesn't have the flash. You do the damage calculations. You know, you see into the future. You calculate all the different possibilities that fellows can survive, and you say, "Now let's just bomb him.
Yeah.
Let's just get him into the old."
It was the
was.
the comet.
It was.
It was the comet.
It was the shot glass combo.
It was the shot
It's-
glass
I like to
combo.
think-
It was misfortune with the tick, tick, tick and a Ziggs boom is
It
what it
was.
was.
And the comet, is that like I know, is that the bitters you put
Nah, that's
in?
the bitters in the end. Yeah, that's it.
So-
It's the flash of flame at the end for style.
But what that means, a wave goes into turret, which Felix doesn't catch. It is also
It was Aatrox with time at the top.
is 2 defensive summoners gone in terms of the heal and the barrier away as well now, and it does mean that actually for once is first blood going over to Sengoku.
Utapon does go down, and that's a much better start from Sengoku Gaming.
huge,
And
yeah.
it puts them up to a gold lead now.
It does, yeah. I mean, as much as well done a burn in the top side just to try and get a good trade and some priority in that top lane. Looks like actually the CS has managed to somehow get its way almost
Ebby
to
lost
even.
a wave because of the teleport.
Yeah,
bot.
because of the teleport bomb. That makes a lot of sense. I actually didn't catch that. Some say that color casters don't have eyes.
They are allegedly blind. Steel's on a ward, and he'll have to back away.
And
knowing
the
that's
great
going on.
thing is, no summoners were burned for that play.
No, they weren't.
Yeah, so basically, Sengoku, even though they had all 4 of their summoners burned in that early play from the early game from Steel, hasn't been punished. They have themselves at a slight CS advantage, have themselves kill participation as well. It's going well for Sengoku in this early game, apart from that early dragon, of course, which is kind of a shame to lose.
All right, worth pointing out, top lane turret now at that 2.5 plate mark. Steel
2.5.
still 2.5.
Yeah.
It's my new word. I like it. Do you like it? Neologism.
I don't even know the meaning of both those words.
Neologism is making up a new word.
Oh,
That's
cool.
what they
You
go.
could be making up that
I
word
could.
and saying
You
it
would
is
have
making
no
up.
idea.
I would have no idea. You
But
could
late
also-
again, here we go. Utapon is here alone. There's
Flash
someone
available from Utapon this time.
He
though.
has got it. He's got the Severum and the Chakram onslaught. He may have to use it. He's used the ultimate. He's healing up a lot. He's going to be caught in there. It does go down.
Another
Teleport's being
teleport.
burned in. That's a flash out. Now they're kind of caught in a bit of no man's land, but the turret has gone down to the top. It's another kill, but I'm not sure they're going to be able to get too much more. They're thinking of diving.
Bullet time. Oh,
Balance
that's so
time is
sad.
so good. Seros
Oh.
is now in a 1 versus 5. The flash is good. He finds a decent shuffle, and he's still in a difficult spot.
Hook
He's going to
misses.
try and
Fancy feet.
80 feet. Enti goes golden, and they do get that. That was 3 for none in the bot side. So well played by Sengoku
And
Gaming.
if they manage to push this low enough, remember they have a Ziggs satchel. There's the top lane turret that's already gone down for DFM. That was the Herald use for that, I think, as well, because Steel did take that one down early. It's a lot of people committed into the bot lane. NC just actually taking the a lot of turret shots there, barely surviving. I think the satchel will just be able to kill off this tower, though.
Well,
5 plates in the bot lane and no more. Oh, wow, that's Youthbomb walking up. The set's actually coming down. Still
oh my days. he's thinking about it, he just realizes a lot of people here. It is
Yeah.
slowing down the back, though, and that means mid lane's in a bit of trouble.
It is in a little bit of trouble there. Still, this
And it
is
means
for the
Ocean Drake.
For the first time in this series, it's actually
good
Sengoku
early game.
getting
It's a
this
good early game.
It's a good early game. They're getting the win over this bot lane. They didn't have to use the Trundle for the permagank. The Jarvan is just doing exactly the same job, and it's just punishing Utapon very hard here. Blank knows Utapon has flash, doesn't want to commit with the Cataclysm, uses the EQ, puts the flag fairly long there just in case he does flash in a straight line, has the Cataclysm to follow up, and then the Ziggs just does his thing, throws the bomb, teleports in, and then there are two people stuck in a turret. This minefield, and then of course they make it rain for the slows.
They're going bot now. They're going to try and return the favor. There's the face breaker. Apperman's now in trouble. Steel's taking low, but he's got the haymaker. Does not survive. Turret shot's huge, and DFM fail the dive.
They do, and there's going to be another Darkened Blade coming up here from Apperman as well. I think he's okay to clear out this wave, and there is the flash of from Utapon.
Saros is here
now. This is still probably going to be Apperman going down, but what are they going to lose for the delay which he's managed to come up here with here? He's actually going to leave the turret right now.
Ebby's alone.
He's going to survive actually because he manages to clear out the wave.
I'm thinking about diving Ebby now. He's got a Mega Gnar coming up. Those might be a bit of a risk.
Yeah, I think they don't really want to. They do have Cataclysm.
They're thinking about it. They've missed it thus far. Ebby's low. He's not going to get the Mega Gnar, and this is so much cleaner with the dives. The Jarvan coming up huge here.
Blank taking a lot of turret shots there, just helping his wave survive, I guess. So Ebby also getting dived, and this time we saw this in the Juggernaut match between these two teams. I believe it was in game 4. We saw that Apperman ended up surviving a dive. Ebby didn't. Even when they were on opposing weak sides, one of the top laners came out ahead, and for once, it's actually Ebby taking the worst end of this top lane trade.
The bot lane turret did go down, but it is a bloody early game. It's about a 2,000 gold lead to Sengoku Gaming, though, and that's good news.
It is, and so much of this gold's gone on to you, Totomi.
Yes, it has. It's so much better early on.
He was there for all of the plates on bot lane, 4 of the plates in the top lane as well. Didn't manage to get the last one, just ended up ticking over into the plates falling off. 202 as well, has himself 1,000 gold lead on the MF. Also, Ziggs has 1,000 gold lead in the mid lane. It's going very well for Sengoku thus far.
Yeah, what hasn't been so good, though, is, of course, they prioritize these dives and not the objectives. DFM have got themselves 2 Drakes and the first Herald. We'll have to see how Sengoku Gaming want to contest. I believe we are on a Mountain Rift. Thank you very much. I was just double checking that one.
It's the best of the 2 remaining souls, but then again, you don't have the best tank stats coming in from the side of DFM. Yeah, getting a Mountain Soul would kind of turn this game in a little ways. I don't think it's game ending because of the scaling from the Ziggs and the Misfortune, but of course, with the Aphelios and the Azir trying to survive some of the burst combos from the Jarvan and stuff, it is pretty important to the game plan.
Steel is going to take that decent use of the W from Karma. The inner flame
gives them a Herald.
It is.
I think so. 3-0-1 on the Aatrox now. Apperman is going to be really hard to punish on the side lane. You don't have an Ignite on the Karma. You can't really cut through that healing. You don't have any healing reduction yet. Sometimes you see that coming out of the top lanes. Of course, the Gnar has that himself. That means that Gnar has to be on the same side of the map as the Aatrox, though. That's probably not going to work out in your favor with this advantage, though, in the isolated 1v1.
It is not. And, of course, this time around, Misfortune's got to the first item lead over this Aphelios.
Yep.
It was been Utapon for 2 games in a row. This time around, Utapon has found himself to a good start, frankly, which has been a bit few and far between for Sengoku Gaming.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said about how the draft has changed as well. Remember, it is Sengoku on the first the first time they're on the red side here. So they did have a chance to ban out some more priority picks if they really felt like it. But I think that the Ziggs is working out really well too. It's teaming up really well with the Jarvan. And of course, the MF is really good with the Jarvan as well.
There we go. It is that shot glass combo. We asked for something a little stronger than the last couple games, and we seem to have it. It is fire and fury coming out of a Ziggs Inferno Bomb and a bullet time that is putting the shot glass pretty well.
Yeah. So one heck of a bomb. That's to be honest, I like fruit bombs. That's what I like. I don't drink too much. I don't drink at all anymore. Actually.
No, you don't.
Teetotal. No, I've given up on that life. I've stopped being. Well, I'm still a student again, I guess. But no,
you've done that student life.
I've done that student life and decided, maybe not the healthiest lifestyle for me. But it's working pretty okay for Sengoku. They are the party people this time around.
They are the party people this time around. Steel and Saros. Oh boy, they're looking to try and get in on Utamashi. Oh, good flash. But it is been burned, and with the Mountain Drake up in a minute, that being down could be dangerous. And Steel's still looking.
Yeah, but it's also a flash out of Steel as well. Remember,
Herald
put into the mid lane. They have have the Ziggs here. Ziggs Herald pushes are so nasty. This will be the, satchel kill onto the mid lane there. Instant first turret gone in the mid lane.
It is. Utapon does clean up the Herald, and Seros and Gang are going to shove in lots of this top side. They don't want to fight around this Mountain Drake, knowing they're a little bit behind in terms of where their items are.
30 seconds until the spawn anyway, and there's a teleport onto Seros. The resets coming out of jungle and support. They'll still be there to end up. Okay, actually, the Mega Inferno Bomb using to clear out the very remains of that wave. Not sure that's the best value for ultimate money there.
And also, like, at least Utapon has got himself to a first item. They're going to try and get onto him in the mid lane, though. He has got flash, but he's going to need to burn it.
Yeah, he's burned it there. It's for the cost of the Cataclysm. Has himself the Severum, so he'll be able to heal up in time for this fight, at least. And, of course, the Athenes has been built up on the
DFM aren't going to be there in time.
They're not going to be there in time. They don't have vision control. They don't have themselves the engage tools really available to them now as well, particularly not having the Aphelios flash is really important, particularly against the Aatrox too. Aquaman is really good at diving onto backlines with this champion, and Aphelios without that flash would be feeling a little bit vulnerable.
Yeah, that's fair to say. But, DFM doing their best at this point to staunch the lane. They've managed to even up the tower score. They've got waves pushing very well. And that was partly what they did quite well in the game one when things started going a little bit awry, was find ways to get waves shoving in other side lanes.
Steel's going to be able to take the top side jungle of Sengoku, though, at least get some XP, get some gold there. Maybe try and eke out a level advantage in the jungle, and then try and, make that into an uneven smite fight, as we've seen a couple of times, particularly in game one with the Kindred.
Blank's got the level advantage right now, though.
Right now he has, as he ends up clearing his Gromp, but it does mean that Steel won't be too far behind, particularly as he's got his Gromp up at least. Although, yeah, Sengoku did manage to take a lot of that bot side, and they've cleared up a lot of the vision there too. Look at the vision on that red side jungle from DFM.
Exactly. It's the same over for Sengoku Gaming on the other side. It's just trading halves of the map right now. They are hurtling around this Azir, who is a very strong champion in general. He's got himself to a Gnash's Tooth. He's got a Haunting Guise. Once Leandri's come through, that Azir with a bit of setup can absolutely ruin Sengoku Gaming.
Sure, but it's not like he's got a Zhonya's to really deny the combo from Sengoku. That might have been a good idea as well, because if he is stuck in that Cataclysm, he knows he's going to get hit by the Ziggs ultimate. He can just try and ignore some of that damage. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how DFM problem solve their way out of this disadvantage they find themselves in. They've lost a lot. They've lost all of their outer turrets, of course, and Ziggs is very good at pushing into the inner ones too. If you do give him a bit of a breath of fresh air on these sidelines.
Azir needs to be careful. He's about to walk into Jarvan, but they have spotted each other, so that is a little bit more safety as Utorimashi now moves to the top side.
He has no flash, though. He's really vulnerable in the sidelines. This is why they're trying to shield him so much. They have Thresh and Jarvan on the same side of the map, just saying, look, if you're going to go for the Misfortune, you're going to have to get through a lot of other members first.
Steel and Karma wandering around as a duo. They're going to find Appaman here, but
I'm not sure they want this fight.
They have got the W down. They've managed to stop the W over. He's managed to move the flash, but he has had to burn it. Appaman survives again.
He's doing really well at just, he took out the wolves knowing that it would have been taken.
Mid lane push.
Anyway, it's a mid lane push. It's with the Ziggs. If Utapon comes up here, he has no flash.
He's got to be careful. He's got the barrier. He does just about survive for now. Blank's now caught in the middle here. He's caught, going to get out with the lantern. He just stepped up thinking he was going to be safe, but Blank once again finds a great angle.
And Pyrian's really been chaining together a lot of these combos very well. Blank and Pyrian very much on the same page. I did think that Pyrian was the person who was performing the best on Sengoku. And when he's got this champion, which does have that, that semi-global ultimate, the very long-range Mega Inferno Bomb, he's been using it to great effect to affect other lanes for once.
The biggest loser of this game so far is Utapon's KDA, which has been stellar over the last couple of series.
Yeah, last series, 15 KDA from Utapon.
But he just kept saying, I don't want to give up this tower. Thought he was going to be far enough away, and he just didn't have the damage to turn anything around there.
And this is the comparison between the two game states right now and the agency the two teams have afforded to
Big
them.
AI vote.
Because, you could see that there was, when DFM went for a play, it was onto the flash on an Aquaman who already has an item and a half on the Aatrox. It's really hard to kill that guy. They'd taken the flash away from Utorimashi. Sengoku was shielding him very well. And of course, Utapon on the other side had no flash, and you saw Sengoku be able to abuse that even under turret.
They definitely could. Utapon without the flash, being punished. Utorimashi without his, stayed alive.
Okay, so this does smell like we might actually there's a good chance of victory for Sengoku now.
There is.
We might not have a 3-0.
There might not be. DFM would like to stop that, though. They've got 2 items on Nar. They've got 2 items, finally, on Aphelios. And yes, he's been down, but he's been farming well.
Yeah.
And the next Dragon fight with 2 items, I think he might be willing to take that fight.
Importantly, actually, there's a Morale and Omicron onto these Ziggs as well, particularly because the way you can outplay this dive combo as the Aphelios, as you have Severum, you then, chain up with like your Q and your ult, getting a lot of flat healing. Defiance from Karma with the Athenes on it as well. Actually, the Morello has pretty good value against a lot of the healing here. It's not really good against anyone else, particularly, the Azir doesn't have too much sustain. But with the Karma Athenes coming through, there is some value, particularly when you have a lot of AoE damage from long range from the Ziggs. You get to apply that Morello very liberally.
Yeah, you really do. But for now, DFM got set up.
Well, it seems like they disconnected or something. So I will, Master One here, going to try and jump in and cast this as much as I can. Are they back? Hello, gentlemen?
There's a fight going around the Drake, though.
Okay, you are
So we'll
back.
see how it goes on. We had a brief drop there. Our internet is notoriously a little bit tricky.
Damn you, internet service providers. Anyway, we're back, and we're back here looking at this pretty close... and again, the word we use is posturing around here. The dragon is coming up very soon. Azir turret's been set up in the mid lane. Let's see how DFM want to try and approach this fight.
If he doesn't have a Narbar, he does have teleport. The wards that DFM put down were traded out by Sengoku Gaming, and DFM just say, yeah, I don't think we can contest this right now.
They don't want to contest it. There's already one Mountain Drake to the side of Sengoku. They picked themselves the first one there. They're looking and sitting in this brush, seeing if they can pick off anyone. There's a flash on Pyrion, though. Would be quite a hard ask.
Would be. We'll have to see how it goes. Steel's around.
They've pinged
Miyashi in the mid lane. They've got a hook onto Steel. They know he's around. Pyrion's here as well, but I think it's just too late.
But they're avoiding the danger brush.
They're avoiding the danger brush. Ebby's in the mid lane. He's got himself towards but that's not going to be all that important because they just couldn't compete for that dragon. They had the vision control, but they had to back away for the reset, and Sengoku Gaming just cleared them all out.
Yeah, and once again, you saw him actually finding his way to a side lane, finding as well some extra farm. Utapon actually not falling that far behind, has himself a lot of CS, even though he doesn't have any kill participation right now.
No one on DFM's got kill participation. It's zero board on that.
Exactly, yeah, that's a lot of what things to say. Of course, on the other side, the mid and bot lane have 2-0-2 score lines, have themselves a lot of items, but it's not like DFM have no items on their carries.
No, it's two items out for Azir.
From both
two items from the Gnar. It's 2 items for Aphelios. Athenes is in for the Karma. Like, they are ready to fight, even if it is from a deficit.
Yeah, importantly, though, 2 items for the Aatrox means he's really ready to fight. The
Death Dance, Black Cleaver.
The Gnar has the Frozen Mallet, which is pretty helpful in the side lane, and the Executioners alongside the Black Cleaver. But okay, actually, Steel's being found out here.
They're gonna fight. They're gonna get onto him. Do they want this fight? They're thinking about it. He's now in a bit of a difficult spot. He's thinking about a face breaker. Face breakers blank out. He's just gonna put a cataclysm down. Gang takes a lot of damage. Defiance is good, and they kill Gang, and they got a massive bullet time again. Just such a good combo. That face breaker just brought Blank closer.
I mean, that round is on Apple. We called it the shot glass combo, but that's just filling up the whole bar surface with free drinks there for Sengoku. It's going to be a free Baron for them as well.
Yeah, Steel's alive, and so is Azir, but I don't think there's a way they can really contest. Steel's going to try and find his way around. But Apperman is a monster. Are you sure you want this? It would be a Hex Flash from Steel to try and find something. They're going to fight off an Apperman. I think they might be able to get the kill. He's got a Death Dance, but he does not fall down because Lanterns are good. They're quite low in this pit, though. Seros is here trying to go and find some damage. He's going to push the soldiers forward. It's a 3 versus 3. They try and make a play. Steel over the back. He's going to have to Blast Plant out. Apperman over the wall. And I think Sengoku Gaming get out. They get 2 kills, and nobody dies in return. Great play from Sengoku Gaming.
Put 5 Baron buffs on the tab there. They get out with a clean play. And apart from the dragons, you mean there's no kills for DFM. They're really trying their best, but Apperman is very hard to kill.
He really, really is. He's 4-0-2 now. They can't even get to the mid-wave because Pyrion is here, and Ziggs does one thing very, very well, and that is wave clear.
It's beige. Yes, so Ziggs manages to get in there and put himself into a place where he can actually start. Just this damage is so ever present. Pyrion isn't even within half a screen of a lot of these people right now. Blank makes sure that the mobility tools are down before and Apperman teleports in at just the perfect place. Gang is deleted, and the bullet time for once in this series comes up with a lot of damage and an impactful team fight.
It really does. And now 9 kills to 0. This is looking like a bit of a shutout for Sengoku Gaming. There's 6,000 gold to play with.
They do, and Apperman is so strong in the side lane now. He's very hard to kill, has himself almost at level 16, that 3rd level of the ultimate. Yutori Miyashi has himself almost to a Bloodthirster as well, and at that point, I think the Misfortunes can be really hard to close off some team fights from DFM.
Here we go. Utapon clears out the mid lane wave. Azir is here, so is Gang, but NT waiting over the wall. Appamen so strong, ready to bring this to a game 4. Whose cannon minions are actually targeted onto Seros, who's dragged them away from the tower. That's actually pretty big news. It means the tower is not taking as much damage, but Seros' health bar certainly is.
This is the thing, right? There's still no sustain on.
Going in. Blank's going very deep. Utapon goes golden. They're both going golden. That's a big Meganar. Steel is here. Maybe Utapon has found the fight. Sengoku Kimi goes solo. Utapon dead. So is 3 members, 4 members. It's a huge fight for DFM and Sengoku Gaming go too far, too beat, and it's a double for Steel, who found nothing in the early game. But DFM do not ever give up like that.
They absolutely don't. Items are there, damage is there, huge Meganar coming out there. And there was still, I think there's still not quite a flash available for DetonatioN in that fight.
Not.
Pyrion,
Stopwatch.
Pyrion lives, but the big thing is Blank overcommits onto a stopwatch target. There's a stopwatch onto the Azir as well. I was talking about, well, what happens when a Zhonya's comes in for the Azir? You can start denying that combo, and it's the Aphelios which managed to deny it this time. There's still wave clear available from the Ziggs. You might be able to save this turret.
Maybe they're going to try and get onto him. He forces the flash
The Meganar is
away.
back available.
Yeah, it is. But that does mean that the turret is saved, but it comes at the cost of a flash. Mountain Drake spawns in 13 seconds. DFM are going to reset and look to be around for it.
Yeah, so Meganar has run out. There's no flash on the Azir. Of course, the Moonlight Vigil is also not available from Aphelios. A lot of their team fighting tools ended up in a lot of kills and some map priority to manage to get themselves into that mid lane outer turret. But then But the Mountain Soul Point will now be over Sengoku. And what this means is that actually the Aatrox and the Jarvan are going to be pretty hard to remove off the bat here. Their front line
Steel has flash. He's got a wall to go over. He's going in. He's going to try and find his way. Can't get in time. He's going to have to flash his way out.
He might do. You might try and use the. Yeah, he does end up using that. I was about to say, well, can you showstopper over that wall? No, he doesn't. Actually, I'm not sure you can showstopper over walls. I think that's, you can if it's a thin wall. Anyway, right. Whatever. I'm not a sad player. Sometimes I lose track of some of those interactions.
Let's look at this massive team fight again as well.
My problem here is that there is a problem. There are ways to engage onto this team comp with the Azir and the Gnar. So you don't necessarily want to 1-3-1. Blank only gets the ult onto one person. It's a stopwatch person. And then when the bullet time is set up, Ebby is in place to stop it. Appaman takes so much damage from the tower and also just, the entire backline of DFM. And the fight just goes from bad to worse.
And everybody knows shots are better off shared. It was only Utapon. And he was going teetotal that fight. Went for the golden position. Took out Bullet Time, Cataclysm, and of course the Mega Inferno Bomb, which did nothing. With that combo down and Utapon alive, it was free reign for DFM to turn it around, and their consistent damage is really high.
But speaking of the Mega Inferno Bomb, it's level 16 Ziggs. It's a death cap Ziggs. 3 items there. This guy, Pyrion, is going to be doing so much damage if that ever lands on the sweet spot.
It absolutely will. And Utapon, of course, doesn't have a GA, and with the stopwatch down, he's not going to be quite as safe this time. He's got barrier and flash, though.
Yeah, he does have barrier and flash, and the flash is very important. But things are Blank has been playing pretty well around the flashes. He hasn't actually stopped off to complete his Phantom Dancer. He's actually going straight towards the GA.
I kind of agree.
Sat on the Zeal and says, actually, no, this GA is way too important. If I die at the start of the fight, we can't peel back around me or try and push forward with the counter engage from a Meganar or something like that. We need to make sure I survive. Anyway, Sengoku, 3 Mountain Dragons. That is still a lot of stacking resistance.
It is.
Of course, it's not really built up on your backline, but it's really important for the 3 members in support, jungle, and top lane for Sengoku.
Yeah.
And that will make them, keeps them having some staying power in these fights.
Yeah, but staying power versus an Azir and a Aphelios is sometimes a relative thing. And if they cannot delete one of the carries who now have a GA and a Zhonya's apiece, that will be difficult. That shot glass needs to land.
It does, yeah. However, Bloodthirst are now available for DetonatioN. Is going to get himself a massive overshield if he gets himself... Oh, actually, there's an Inspire Shield in the mid lane. Something you do need to keep track of as well, of course. Remember, harkens back to days of Season 5, where Karma can just start shoving down lanes. This might actually be the Mega Inferno Bomb forced out to wave play. It's actually just going to be the mid lane in a turret being forced down.
They're going to continue going in. They're just shoving and saying, yeah, you can't go for Baron Knight now because we take this really fast. That's half the turret health going. They're trying to find him, but that's a decent engage. Utapon is
Oh, so much damage!
But that is a lot of damage. But Utapon survives. He survives. And Steel is now in a bad position. He's going to face breaker his way to try and something like relative safety. He's got the blast plan. He's alive. And so is the rest of DFM right now. Apperman is doing a lot of work. That Infernum ult, though, was huge. And the healing.
So shuffle.
And Thresh is dead. But Seros is in a bad position. He's got flash. And it's a shutdown now to 1-for-1. But mid laner for support.
Yeah, and this is the problem with the Zig. You always have to ask yourself the question when you're soldiering in this position, do I need to be frontline doing a shuffle or doing the backline? He doesn't catch the MF. The MF turns around and just nukes him after the Zhonya's, even though the Zhonya's is very important for ignoring the Mega Infernal Bomb, which, by the way, was huge in that fight. It's just way too hard to survive in the backline when your frontline can't continue the fight as well as Apperman with his 3 items. He's got a Spirit Visage with 3 Mountain Drakes buffing that up. He's so huge on this Aatrox.
It took us a long time to get a truly competitive game in this series, and we are here in this late game. Sengoku Gaming have the advantage, but DFM are suddenly finding even fights, and at 32 minutes into the game, this is the kind of point where death timers start meaning game ends.
They do in a lot of ways, right? And the thing is, though, like, Ziggs is going to be putting out so much damage in these fights. Actually, there's a teleport onto him.
Ziggs is coming out, and Seros is here. He's going to try and find his way in. He can't find a shuffle. It's a big one. And here's Emmy from Meganar. Shut down onto Pyrion, who doesn't survive. And now, Blank is burning down. Leandri's burn. And Seros teleports on Azir like a god. And welcome to Olympus, DFM. Is 2 members dead? And I talked about those 10th timers moments ago. There's 2 waves and 3 versus 5. I think DFM have done it.
There's a good chance they have done here. There is a bullet time
that's
available.
A gravitum. They invited to fade away to you, actually, but it doesn't last long enough. That's a showstopper. They're going to try and find
Apperman.
the game.
No, he's dead!
DFM will be your spring split champions. There's no way out. And on the 3rd game, they rose again, and they are your champions. Japan. You know them. You love them. For the 5th time, Detonation FocusMe are looking to win this series. Look at Pyrion, though. He's nearly up. Maybe I've spoken too soon. There's 3 people up, but there's a shuffle up again. It's late enough into the game and it's low. That's a big Mega Inferno Bomb that's flashed away from. Maybe I have spoken too soon. The SKT members are big. It's a Gravitum ult that's back up again, and DFM thought they had it. The prize was there. It was in their hands.
That's actually not coming in from Apperman.
Apperman is going to try and find it, but Defiance is a thing. Karma's got heals. She's got shields.
Okay, so
the precipice.
Yeah.
The precipice was there. We have to take a breath, as DFM cannot give up Mountain Soul. They're going to try and rush it. There is no jungler.
Okay, right. So this is going to be the Mountain Soul denied at the very least from DFM here, but they might still get chased down. There is no World Ender available, but they might get caught on recalls here. And Apperman is chasing.
He's thinking about it. I don't know whether he can find it. And no, it'll be a reset. Okay. Baron's up. Do they try and rush it? Blank's not there.
Blank is not there indeed. So, okay, we
find
going. Ourselves. They're going.
They're going.
They are there, but Ebby is teleporting in with some pretty high speed there.
Yeah, but no one else is there. Azir's not back yet. I think they get this.
But Blank is not there for the smite just there. He will have to turn up at the same time, probably as Steel here. He can flag and drag over the back of the pit. It will be a Baron. There's a Nexus turret still available for Sengoku. So
can Ebby stop the backs? That's the key. They're in there. But the fight, look how low Pyrion is. He's already very, very low. The fight's about to begin. He has no flash. Meganar is there. He's going to find another one. It's on to the misfortune. The AD carry's in trouble. Steel might be in trouble too, but Utapon picks that one up. It's now a 5 versus 4. Enti's going to fall down as well. And that might be it. It's a double for this Aphelios. Shut him down in the early game, you might, but he's picked up another couple in this fight. They have got Baron. They might be able to resist the push. Ziggs is a champion. We've been over his wave clear, and it's all beige. The hopes of Sengoku Gaming. How did DFM do it? They're back in the game, but Sengoku Gaming, they're not going quietly.
Seros has some absolute magic on these teleports on the Azir here. They have the Inspire shields here. As much as there are the Baron buff minions, it's going to be at least an inhibitor. Only 1 Nexus turret as well. This could still be the end of the game.
There's 1 Nexus turret. They don't need much of a wave. They've got 2 waves of super minions coming in. Ebby has Meganar. They're going to try and zone away this Ziggs, who still hasn't. Oh, he's actually just got his
5 seconds on Utori.
There is 5 seconds on Utori. They're going for the Nexus Tower. Blank's going in. He knows this is it. They've got a good Cataclysm. That's a good Meganar.
Oh, it's a
Gang is dead. And that is also the
Utori
GA popped. Yutori is up, and maybe they can stop it. This actually could be a turnaround now. Look at Ebby, he's in trouble. Seros is going to find his way out, and they find 2 in the most important situation. The clutch is there. Ebby has no flash. They're going to try and get onto him. The hop's there, and the boomerang slow, I think, will be enough. But Yutori can still run really fast.
They absolutely can. And remember, at this time in the game, minions are very quick too. They don't take a long time to amble down those lanes. This could be a mid lane inhibitor down from DFM now, with this Baron buff especially, still has a minute remaining on it.
Seros is here. They're going to try and resist. It's 2 versus 3 right now. Steel's going to back up as well. Ziggs is in the top side. He's going to teleport in.
They're going to teleport in. Remember, they have satchels too. They can use that to try and take down potentially one of the next.
To end.
They might still try and do that with 15 seconds left
Gang's
on
up.
Utapon here. Gang is up. This could still be a back-to-back game.
It could be. It's close. It is so close. Steel's round the back. Ebby's going in. He's got Meganar up again. It's not bad, but it's not fantastic either. But look where Steel is. Blank's really low. And Yutori Miyashi is dead again. Utapon is alive, and they can't find it. Sengoku Gaming thought they might be able to face breaker. Pyrian gets out with the lantern.
Teleport to the base!
Teleport to the base. They need to back. So shut down onto set. But Seros has only got 1 turret to kill, but he's alone versus the Jarvan.
There is still an empowered recall available from some other members. Saros has so much AP, though. He has himself an elixir. He's going for the back door. Trying to take down
I don't think he can get it. He's going to die. He's not going to get it.
Close.
It's not enough. They back in time, and Saros will be dead.
And he's going to be dead for like 50 seconds. There'll still be a good time for him to get back up and compete for the next Mountain Soul. There was still 5 seconds left on the Baron buff. This game is end to end in the fullest length that you can say it in League of Legends.
Oh, and you think it's all over. It isn't now. That's 2 near ones, and that Nexus turret is a sneeze away from death. If Ebby gets his teleport back up, he can get in. There is still 2 minutes 35 on the top lane inhibitor. Mid lane will be respawning shortly. But for now, we need to take a breath. We need to take stock of what's going on, because there is a Mountain Drake in 50 seconds. That will be Mountain Soul for either team, which could be the tipping point.
It could absolutely be, right? So there's soul point for both teams. As you were saying, I think if it goes to one team, considering how close these games, the burst combos are getting, it could definitely decide the next team fight. After that, we have full 8 AD carries. Well, actually, no, that's not quite true. There's only the BF sword and Yutori Miyashi.
I think he sold off his GA.
I think he sold off. No, I think he sold off his stopwatch.
That's what it was. Thank you.
He's died a couple of times now in some pretty awkward situations. DFM are finding their way to the backline. Pyrian has still only died the one time. Ebby is there. You're right. There is the GA and so much tank stats onto Aquaman, though, alongside 3 Mountain Drakes. It's going to be really hard to try and take him down.
It would be. Ebby's just going to go forward and start trading forces. The world ender out before the Mountain Dragon.
He was afraid of
Saros is
potential
here.
other DFM members. Yeah. He didn't, because there was so much dark on this side of the map. 5 seconds till Mountain. Looks like Saros might be trying to do a backdoor here.
They're just saying, yeah, go for the Mountain Drake if you want. We'll just end it. That's the game plan.
It is there indeed. Right, okay.
Forcing the back.
Utapon is there. They're forcing the back. Apperman is there. So is NC, but there's no Ziggs there. He's just recalled himself. Steel did not stick around in the Mandrake. He was just hanging around, seeing if Sengoku did turn up there, perhaps he could go for a steal
Blank's
himself.
potentially in trouble. Saros puts up that turret in the mid lane. That's an obnoxious point to put down.
But it dies really quick. It doesn't have the backdoor bonus like other towers.
Ebby's off to the side, but DFM find the way to the Mountain Drake first. They've started it. It's already going down. Blank will be here.
Ebby's still in the top lane. They're playing a push, a tug of war here.
They are. Ebby's just gonna. They just need to stop the back. That's all they do. Utapon flashes out. But that's Steel now in the Baron buff.
Oh, Steel gets it. Ebby's in the base.
They are. They need to back it to teleport in. But if Utapon can be stopped, they found a gravity, and that means they're not getting it back in time. Enty's here, but it's Saros and Ebby. The hook misses. That's an exhaust. There is the Mega Inferno bomb, but the Nexus is exposed. They're not back in time. The Shurima shuffle is opening it up. Look at the Nexus. It's a half HP. Can they get alive? It's gone down. No, it hasn't.
Oh
my days.
This could actually be this could actually be the rundown itself.
Oh,
there are 3 people dead from DFM. They don't have any teleports available to them, but there are minions on the Nexus.
They've started attacking. Can they kill it quick enough? I think it might still end.
Close.
Oh my god. And the Nexus respawns.
The inhib respawns then. The Nexus doesn't respawn in this game. Oh, this is just end-to-end stuff. Yutori Miyashi is barreling down in the mid lane there as well. There's only one person available. Ziggs is trying to teleport down the mid lane.
There's 30 seconds. They've done it. They've absolutely done it.
They have the Satchel, remember?
Oh,
They
wow.
have the mid laner. They have the Misfortune alive as well. This should be from one Nexus on about 1 HP to one Nexus being dead on the other side. Oh my god.
I don't even know. Sengoku Gaming, do not give up yet. 2-1 is the game score, and Sengoku Gaming hold on by their fingertips.
We don't have a 3-0. It's not a 3-0. Sengoku strike back for once in this series. I mean, I don't know what thoughts are particularly possible in that game, but Mass1, take it away.
My first thought is initialize. I think this is a point where you don't call the end of the game until the Nexus has truly fallen.
I know. It
You
looked
did it
so done.
twice, and
It
you got
looked
BM
so
through.
done.
You casted.
Sengoku Gaming.
I mean, cast
Play
is
it.
curse, right? That's what you did to them, and you threw away your jersey and the 3-0 for them. I'll take it. Sengoku win that one in the worst cleanup of a game, which they should never have given to DFM ever. That was just a game that they were 6-0, like 2k ahead. They had advantage, and they had.
And it all came about. Two plays. First off, the kill, the staunching of the Baron push in the bot lane from the huge teamfight plays of particularly Ebby and Seros. Again, playing really well this time on the Gnar, and the Azir's coming out really huge. And Seros with some magic on that mid lane teleport play from Azir. That brought them back into the game.
It did.
They had no right to be that close. Utorami actually got picked off a lot of times with
Multiple
Misfortune.
times.
When Misfortune doesn't have the flash, doesn't have a GA, you can kill off that carry there. Pyrion died one time in that early game, into the later game there from that teleport from Saros. That almost ended the game.
It did.
Wasn't quite enough.
Wasn't quite
enough to kill
Arya
the
level,
Nexus.
basically.
Credit to Sengoku Gaming for the early game, though. We finally got one where they were more than competitive. They were in charge. They found multiple dives onto the bot lane, outplayed DFM. They were 5 versus 3. They thought one teleport would be enough, but it wasn't, and they managed to get multiple kills on the bot side a couple of times. Dives that DFM tried to pull off didn't work. Steal on the set didn't manage to quite secure kills early in the game either.
4 summers from bot lane was really good. Just didn't manage to find anything more than that.
Lots of stuff happened, and we're going to have a short break so we can truly unpack the match that we just witnessed, because it will take us a few moments to really go over everything we witnessed. Yeah, especially to you two, because I mean, I just watched this and was just in hysterics for half of it, so it is definitely a lot to take in. We'll be on that short break, and we'll be back very, very shortly with everything and our 4th match of this series. Take care.